Hello, Mahima here from Goas Now Academy. I hope you all are doing good. Today we will start with the new chapter, which is chapter number 1, Matter in Our Surroundings. Okay, firstly, as we look at our surroundings, we see the large variety of things with the different shapes, sizes, and the textures, right? When you check your surrounding, you will find a lot of things which are different in shape, which are having different color, texture, etc. So everything in the universe is made up of a material, which scientists have named as a matter. Like in our language of science, we say those things as a matter. Means obviously, if any material is there, it is made up of uh, like uh, some many materials. That particular material is known as matter here. And the air we breathe, the food we eat, stones, clouds, stars, plants, and the animals, even a small drop of water or a particle of a scent, everything is a matter. Each and everything is no, is matter only. Okay. We can also see we look around that all the things mentioned above occupy the space and have a mass. In other words, they have a both mass and volume. When we talk about stone, yes, if it is big in size and it is having a volume, or on the it is heavy as well. So this matter is having mass and volume both. Since early times, human beings have been trying to understand their surroundings. Early Indian philosopher classified matter in the form of a five basic elements. Okay, which are the panch tattva, which are like air, earth, fire, sky and water. These are the like known as panch tattva. Okay, according to early Indian philosophers. Now, according to them, everything living and the non-living thing was made up of these basic elements. Okay, might be they are made up of earth, air, or fire, or sky. Like they are indirectly or directly correlated to that. Okay. And these made up of five basic elements, ancient Greek philosophers have arrived at a similar classification of matter. Now, modern day scientists have evolved two types of classification of matter based on their physical properties and their chemical nature. This is fine for that time, but as with the time, the modern scientists just evolved the things, okay, and they simply classify the matter based on their physical appearance or based on their physical properties, and another one is the chemical nature. One is physical, and second one is the chemical. Now, in this chapter, we shall learn about the matter based on its physical properties, chemical aspect of the matter, and will be taken by the subsequent chapters. Okay, now let's start with the physical nature of a matter. What actually it is. So, matter is made up of particles. We know that, right? So, for a long time, two schools of our thought prevailed regarding the nature of a matter. One school believed that matter to be a continuous like a block of a wood, whereas the other thought that matter was made up of a particles like sand. So let us perform the activity to decide the nature and is it a continuous or a particulates. One activity is there just to differentiate, which is like firstly you'll have to take a 100 ml beaker. Okay, fill half of the beaker with the water and mark the level of water. Second, what you have to do is dissolve some salt, sugar, and with the help of a glass or rod. Okay, now observe any changes in the water level. What do you think has happened to the salt? Where does it disappear? So does the level of the water change? This is what you'll have to check. So in order to answer this question, we need to use the idea of a matter is made up of particles. What was the what there is a spoon, salt or sugar has now spread throughout the water. This is illustrated like see particles in the water magnified millions water when we stir it, salt will here water and then salt will remain. So like this, with this activity you can easily differentiate the things. So when we dissolve the salt and water, the particle of the salt get into the space between the particles of a water. Okay, now, how small are these particles of matter? That's fine. We have found out. But now we'll discuss that how small, the size and all. Firstly, take the 2-3 crystal of the potassium and the permanganate and dissolve them in 100 ml of water. Now, second is take the approximately 10 ml of this solution and put into the 90 ml. Okay, calculation is there. And what you have to do is you just take out the 10 ml of the solution and put into the another 90 ml of the clear water. Keep diluting the solution like this for the 5 to 8 times. And is the water is it still colored? You'll have to identify. So when you estimating how the small are the particles matter, with every dilution, through the color becomes the light and still it is visible. So this experiment shows that the few crystal potassium permanganate can color a large volume of a water, about the 1,000 liter. Okay, just a small potassium permanganate is simply coloring the water. Okay, approx 1,000 liter. So we conclude that there must be a millions of tiny particles and the just one particle potential permanganate, which keep one are dividing themselves into the smaller and the smaller particles. So the same activity can be done using the 2 ml of our Dettol instead of a potassium permanganate, and the smell can be detected even after the repeated dilution. So these particles of the matter are very small and they are small beyond our imagination. Now, characteristics of a particle of matter. Particles of matter and have a space between them. We have started about the volume, about the mass and all. So let's check about this space. Okay. Now, in the above activities, we saw that the particles of the sugar, salt, Dettol, or the potassium permanganate got evenly distributed in the water. Similarly, when we make a tea, okay, coffee or a lemonade, anything, particles of one type matter get one to the space of between particles to the other, and this shows that there is enough space between the particle of a matter because it's completely dissolving. Means obviously there is some space. So particle of matter are continuously moving. Activity is there. Firstly, put an like unlit incense stick in a corner of your class. How close to you? Go near to it and go to smell. Second is, now light the incense stick. What happens? Do you get the smell sting at the distance? Record the observation. So with these activities, you will easily get to know about the matter thing. Okay, the particles and all. Now take the 2 glasses beaker filled with the water. Put the drop of the blue or the red ink slowly and carefully along the side of the first beaker and a honey. In the same way, second beaker. Third is, leave them undistributed in your house or in the corner of the class. Record your observation. What do you observe immediately after adding in the ink drop, and what do you observe immediately after adding the drop of a honey? So with these soft substance, you can like do the activities, how the color change, the physical change and all. You can easily get to know. Okay. Now, particles of matter are continuously moving. Here we can conclude that the particles of a matter are continuously moving, and they forces what we call as a kinetic energy. Okay, as they are moving, so they force the kinetic energy. As the temperature rises, okay, the particles move faster. So we can say that the increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the particle also increases. Firstly, kinetic energy takes place because the particles are continuously moving. Now, kinetic energy will change if the temperature will change. In short, when the temperature is rising or it got increasing, then kinetic energy will also increase. Okay. So, in our activities, these 3 activities, what we observe is that the particle of a matter intermix on their own with each other. Okay. And they do so by the getting into space between the particles. This intermixing of the particles of 2 different types of matter of their own is called diffusion. Okay, they simply the intermixing of particle, 2 different type of matter we checked. No, that is like called a diffusion, and they are simply like intermixing particle to different type of matter on their own. This particular process is called diffusion. We also observe that on heating, diffusion becomes faster. Why this happens? So, as the temperature thing we have studied, so this is only the reason. Now, the particle of matter attract each other. Again, with the activity will start. You just play a game in the field, like make 4 group of and form a human chain as suggested. Now, just the first group should be hold each other and back on the long arms, like this Indo-Mismi dancers, and the second group should hold the form of human chain. So the third group should form a chain by touching each other with the only fingertips. Now the fourth group student should run and try to break their human chains one by one, and the small group as possible. So which group was the easiest break? Was the easiest break, and the why? Like the things like the break, the group, the divide of group. This is what like the things we can explain with this activity. Okay, one more activity is there. Yeah, last one is that if we consider the AC student as a particle of a matter, then which group particles held each other with the maximum force? Like one are simply tying the hands, then the fingers. So from this you can easily differentiate. Okay. Another activity is take an iron nail, a piece of a chalk and a rubber band. Take a breaking them by the hammering, cutting or the stretching. So in which above three substances to you, the particles are held together with a greater force. With this is the perfect activity. Okay. Which is taking more force, which is breaking easily. Like this, you can differentiate from here. Okay. So these above activities suggest the particle of matter have a force acting between them, and this force keeps the particles together, and the strength of this force attraction varies one kind of matter to another. Now, state of matter. Matter we have studied, but what are the states? So observe the different type of matter around you. Okay, and what are the different? We can see that matter around us exists in the three different state, which is solid, liquid, and the gas. And these state of the matter arise due to the variation in the characteristics of the particle of matter. Now, let us study the properties of the three matter state in the detail. Okay, very first thing is there are three kind of state like solid, liquid, and gas. I'll deeply study these all. Firstly, in the solid state. So, activities there, collect all the following particles like a pen, book, needle, piece of wood, and stick, etc. You'll have to sketch the shape of our particles in your notebook. While moving the pencil around them, do all these have a definite shape, distinct boundaries, and a fixed volume? When you draw it, you can easily find out this thing. Now, what happens if they hammered or pulled or dropped? Are these particles capable of diffusing into another each other? Try compressing them by applying the force. Are you able to compress them? So this is these activities you can do it with this heavy particles or the solid particles. So all are the our examples of a solid. We can observe that these have a definite shape, distinct boundaries, and the fixed volume. Now they have a have a negligible compressibility. Solid have a tendency to maintain their shape, and when subjected to outside force, solid may break under the force, and it is difficult to change their shape. So they are rigid. So this is what the nature of solid is. Also consider the following: what are the if a rubber? What about the rubber band? Can it changes the shape on the stretching? Is it a solid? What about the sugar and salt? When they kept in the jar, these are the shape. Are they solid? Okay. What about the sponge? It is a solid? So all are above solid as rubber band changes the shape under the force and regains the shape again when the force removed. So it is a excessive force is applied in breaks. Okay. So although it is a solid in nature only. Second is the shape of the each individual sugar or the salt crystal remains fixed whether we take in our hand, put it in our plate or it in a jar. So it will solid only. It's a solid only. Third is a sponge has a minute holes in which air is trapped. So when we press, the air expelled. Okay, and out we are able to compress it. Now next is the the liquid state. Solid state is clear. Now let's move with another state which is a liquid. So activities there. You just collect the following thing: water, cooking oil, milk, juice, and a cold drink. Containers of the different shape. Put these 50 ml mark of this container using measuring the cylinder from a laboratory. What will happen if these liquids are spilled on the floor? Measure the 50 ml of any liquid and transfer into the containers one by one. Does the volume remain same? That you have to observe it. Okay. Also, does the shape of the liquid remain same? When you pour the liquid from the one container into another, does it flow easily? So what you observe is that the liquid have a no fixed shape but have a fixed volume. Okay. And they take up the shape of the container in which they are kept. Liquid flow and change shape so they no rigid but can be called as a fluid. What like the liquid which flows, okay, change its shape. So they are not rigid but can be called as a fluid. This particular kind of liquid is known as fluid. We'll refer the activity and where we saw that the solid and the liquid can diffuse in the liquids, okay, in 1.4 and 1.5 activity, and these gases from the atmosphere diffuse and dissolve in water, and these gases, especially oxygen and the carbon dioxide, are the essential for the survival of aquatic animals and plants. Now all the living creatures need to breathe and the survival. The aquatic animals can breathe under the water due to the presence of a dissolved oxygen. in water. So thus we may conclude that the solid, liquid and the gases are the diffuse into liquid, and the rate of diffusion of liquid is higher than the solid. Yes, in the liquid, it will be higher than comparison of solid. This is due to the fact that the liquid state particle move freely and have a greater space between each other as compared to the solid state. There is having a chances of a space between the particles. That's why it is higher in liquid in comparison of solid. This is the reason. Now let's move with the another state, which is the gaseous state. Okay. So here you observed the balloon seller filling a large number of balloons from a single cylinder of gas. Inquire from which how many balloons is able to fill in the one cylinder. So ask him the gas which have what kind of gas having in the cylinder. So activity is there. You just take the 100 ml of a syringe and close the nozzle by the rubber cork as shown in figure. Like this. Okay. Now next is remove the piston from the syringe and leaving one syringe untouched. Fill the water in the second piece of the chalk and the third. Okay. Now insert the piston into the syringe. Now you may look some Vaseline on the piston and apply the Vaseline in the piston and before inserting them into the syringe for the smooth movement. So now try to compress the content by pushing the piston of the syringe. Here this piston. What you observe, in which case the piston easily pushed. Okay. And what do you infer from your observations? So you will observe that the gases are highly compressible. Gases are highly compressible as compared to solid and a liquid. So the liquefied petroleum gas, which is LPG cylinder that we get in our home for the cooking and oxygen supplied to the hospital in the cylinder is compressed gas. Compressed natural gas, which is CNG. CNG is the compressed natural gas is used to as a fuel and these days in the vehicles. Due to its high compressibility, large volume of a gas can be compressed into the small cylinder and transported to easily. We come to know that what is being cooked in the kitchen without even entering there by smell that reaches in our nostril. How does the smell reach us? These particles of the aroma food mix and particles of the spread from the kitchen reach us to even the farther away. So the smell of a hot cooked food reaches in the second. Compare this with the rate of diffusion solid in the liquid, and due to the high speed of the particle and the large space between them, gases show the property of diffusion very fast in other gases. Here it is concluded that from comparison of solid and liquid, this gases is like diffusing very fast. It's having enough space. Okay. And in these gaseous state, the particle move about randomly at a high speed. Due to the random movement of the particle hit each other and along also was container, the pressure exerted by the gas in the gas is because of the force exerted by the particle unit area under the walls of a container. Okay, so this is solid, highly compacted, liquid, little more space. Gas, it's having enough space. So here ABC shows the magnified systematic picture of the three state of matter. This motion of the particle can be seen and compared to the three states. So whenever you will giving the example for the solid liquid gas, easily you with these are diagram, with the help of these diagram, you can explain all the three state of matter, solid, liquid and gas. Now, can the matter change its state? Okay, so we all know that observation that we can exit in the three state of matter, solid as ice, liquid as familiar with the water and gas as a water vapor. So what happens inside the matter during the change of state? What happens to the particle during the change of state and how does the change of state take place? We need to answer these questions, isn't it? Okay, so how it actually changes? Let's see effect of change in temperature. So just take the 150 gram of an ice, okay, weaker, and suspended the laboratory thermometer so that its bulb is contact with the ice. Okay. Now, in the second, you will this conversion of ice to water, conversion of water to water vapor. So this is how the state's changing. So when you start heating the beaker on the low flame, note that the temperature when the ice starts melting. So you'll have to note the temperature when all the ice is converted into the water. Record your observation for this conversion of solid in the state. And also put a glass of rod beaker and the heat while stirring till the water starts boiling. Now keep the careful eyes on thermometer reading till the most of the water has vaporized. Now record observation for the conversion of water in the liquid state and the gaseous state. Now, on increasing the temperature of a solid, when you increase the temperature of the solid, kinetic energy of the particle increases, as we have already discussed this thing. Now, due to the change or due to the increase in kinetic energy, the particles start vibrating with a greater speed, and the particle and the energy supplied by the heat overcomes, and the force of attraction between these particles, the particle leave their fixed position and start moving freely. A stage is reached in the when the solid melts in the converted into liquid, and the minimum temperature at which solid melt becomes the liquid and the atmospheric, which is called it as a melting point. Okay, and the melting point of a solid is an indication of the strength of force of attraction between the particles. Now, the melting point of ice is like 273.15 Kelvin. The process of melting, that is change the solid into the liquid state and also known as a fusion. And when the solid melts, its temperature remains the same. So, where does the heat energy go? This is the question. So you must have observed that during the experiment of melting, that the temperature of the system does not change after the melting its melting point is reached. So till all the ice melts in the happens, even though we continue heat the breaker, and that is we continue supply the heat. So the heat gets up changing the state by overcoming the force of attraction between the particles, and as the heat is absorbed by the ice without showing any rise in the temperature, it is considered that it gets hidden into the content of beaker and is known as a latent heat. So the word latent heat means hidden, and the amount of heat energy that is required to change a 1 kg of a solid into the liquid atmospheric pressure at its melting point is known as a latent heat of a fusion. So the particle of a 0 degree 273 have a more energy compared to the particle and ice at a same temperature. So this is how the temperature affects and the latent heat and all. So now when we supply the heat energy to the water particles start moving even faster. So at a certain temperature, a point is reached where the particles have enough energy to break. Here the energy got increased, or it is having enough energy to break free from the force of attraction each other. At this temperature, the liquids start changing into the gases, and the temperature of at which the liquids start boiling at the atmospheric pressure is known as a boiling point. Okay, and boiling is a bulk phenomena. Particles from the bulk of the liquid gain enough to energy and change into the vapor state. So for water, this temperature is like 373 Kelvin, which is like 100 degrees equals to 273 plus 100, it will be 373. So can you define the latent heat of the vaporization? Does it even same say as we have defined the latent heat as a fusion? So particle in this steam, that is water vapor around 373 Kelvin, have a more energy than water and the same temperature. So this is because of the particle steam absorbed extra energy in the form of a latent heat vaporization. So see, solid state heat is giving when it's cool, then again it will be solid state. Liquid state heat is giving, then it will be the gaseous, and again when it cool it down, it will again begin the liquid state. So this is the cycle. So here we infer that the state of matter can be changed into another state by changing the temperature. Simply, it was all about the temperature thing. We are giving heat, changing the state. When it cool it down, coming back to its initial state again. So we have learned that the substance around us changes state from the solid to liquid, from liquid to gas in its application of the heat. But there are some changes that directly from the solid state to gaseous state of the vice versa without changing into the liquid state. How? Let's see. We have studied it's for the 3 state. Now let's see how the solid state is directly converting into the gaseous one. Okay. So what you have to do is, again it will based on the activity. You just take the camphor, crush it out and put it in the china dish. Okay, like this. Put an inverted fuel funnel and over the china dish like this. Arrangement has been already given. You just put the cotton bug of the stamp funnel as shown like here. Okay, now cotton bug here. Now the heat slowly now heat and slowly observe what you infer above activity. So what you will observe is a change of state directly from solid to gaseous. Okay, without changing its liquid state is called a sublimation. Whenever, just keep in mind, whenever the solid state is directly changing into the gaseous state, this process is known as sublimation. And the direct change of the gas without changing with the liquid is known as deposition. Okay, whenever the gas is like goes to solid without coming in the liquid state, this is known as a deposition. Okay, now effect of change in pressure. So we have is already started we have already learned that the difference in the various state of matter is due to the difference the distance between the constituent particles. Okay, the distance matter. So what will happen when we start putting the pressure and the compressed gas enclosed in the cylinder? Will the particle even come closer? Do you think that the increasing decreasing pressure can change the state? So by applying the pressure, the particle matter can be brought together. Okay, what let's see, applying the pressure on reducing the temperature liquefy the gases. Have you heard that the solid carbon dioxide, which is like CO2, it is stored under high pressure? Solid CO2 gets converted directly into the gaseous state on decrease of the pressure 1 atmosphere. So this is the reason that the solid carbon dioxide is also known as a dry ice, because we can just simply store it. Thus, we can say that the pressure and the temperature determine the state of the substance, whether it is solid, liquid, or gas. So here we have simply like clarified this, that yes, this temperature, pressure helps, okay, and determining the state of the substance, whether it is solid, liquid, or gas. Okay, this diagram is simply showing that a liquid, when gas to liquid, then it's a condensation. Liquid to gas, it's a vaporization. Gas to solid is deposition. Solid to gas is sublimation. Liquid to solid is solidification, and solid to liquid is a fusion. This is the thing. Okay, now evaporation. Do we always need a heat or change in the pressure for changing the state of the matter? So can you some example of the everyday life where we change the state from the liquid to vapor? Okay, boiling of milk, boiling of water, these are the perfect examples for the evaporization. But we know that particles even like of matter are always moving and they never rest at given temperature. In any gas, liquids are a solid, there are particles with a different amount of kinetic energy. In the case of liquid, a small fraction of particles on a surface have a higher kinetic energy, able to break the force of attraction. So this phenomena of the change in liquid into the vapor at any temperature point is known as evaporation. Activity is just there based on it. In this activity, what you will observe is the rate of evaporation increases as increase in the surface area. We know that evaporation is the surface phenomena. If the surface is increased, the rate of evaporation increases. For example, while putting the clothes for the drying, we spread out of them. Also, with the increase of temperature, the number of particles get enough kinetic energy into the vapor state. Humidity is amount of water vapor present in air. The air around cannot be hold more than the definite amount of water vapor in the given temperature. Also, if the amount of the water is already high, the rate of evaporation decreases and increases in the when sweet. It is a common observation that the clothes of a dry faster on the windy day, and with the increase of wind speed, the particles of the water vapor move when the wind decreasing the amount of water vapor present in the surrounding. Okay, how does evaporation cause the cooling? So, firstly, in an open vessel, you just take the liquid, keeps on the evaporating. The particle of the liquid absorb the energy from the surrounding to regain and lost during the evaporation. So, this evaporation of energy from surrounding to cold. So what happens when you pour some of the acetone nail polish remover on your palm? So the particle gains energy from your palm and the surrounding and evaporate, causing the palm of the feel cool. After the hot sunny day, people sprinkle the water on the roof of the ground because of the large latent rate of vaporization helps in the cool space. So these are very common example. We can observe it in our day-to-day life as well. Now, why should we wear the cotton clothes in the summer? So the reason is during summer we perspire more because of the mechanism in our body which keeps us cool. We know that during the evaporation, the particle at the surface of liquid gain energy at surrounding of the body surfaces and change into the pressure. So the heat energy or latent vaporization absorbed from the living body cool. So that's why the cotton being a good absorber of the water and helps us to absorbing the sweat, exposing in the atmospheric easy vaporization. Now what we have learned in this chapter is we have learned about the matter is made up of the small particles. The matter is around exist in the three state, which is solid, liquid, and the gas. And the force of the attraction between the particle is maximum, solid, intermediate in liquids, minimum in gas. Okay, the diagram is simply representing the things that force of attraction in solid is very high, like normal in the liquid, moderate, and very minimum in the gaseous state. The space in between the constituent particles and the kinetic energy of the particle is minimum in the case of intermediate liquid and maximum in the gas. Again, this was about this space. Now, the arrangement of the particle is the most ordered in the case of solid and liquid gas. The state of matter in convertible, the state of matter can change temperature and pressure, both are affecting sublimation, deposition, boiling of a bulk phenomena, particles from the bulk whole liquid in the vapor pressure, and evaporation is the surface phenomena, particle from the surface gain overcome a force of attraction present of vapor state. The rate of evaporation depends on the surface evaporation, and all we have studied. Evaporation causes cooling. Latent heat of a vaporization is heat and required to change the 1 kg of liquid gas of the atmospheric pressure at its boiling point. Latent heat of the fusion is the amount of heat energy required to change the 1 kg of the liquid. Also, some of the measurable quantities, units to remember, this is very important, like temperature Kelvin, symbol is K, length is meter M, mass is kilogram kg, weight is Newton capital N, volume is cubic meter MQ, density is a kilogram per cubic meter, which is kg meter inverse, and the pressure is the Pascal PA. Okay, so these are the unit and the quantity along with the unit and a symbol. So this is all about this chapter. We have started the matter, the 3 states of matter and all. But still, if you have any doubts or you want a teacher to guide you personally, you can join our one-to-one live tutoring at Goas Now Academy. We will help you to learn every concept with the ease. Thanks for watching. Just stay tuned for the next chapter. Thank you.